For grade 11, let's look at the revision for mathematical literacy. We are looking at revision for paper 1. This is paper 1. In paper 1, you will expect to see, finance, data handling, and a little bit of probability. Now, this will be, everything will be out of 100 marks. 100 marks. All right. Paper 1, we expect to see finance, data handling, and probability. All right. Everything's going to be out of 100. You might have it might either consist of 4 questions to 5 questions. That's paper 1. All right. That is it. Then question 1. Question 1, we shall expect a mixture of finance and data handling. Question 2, we might expect to see finance only. Question 3, it will be data handling only. Then question 4, still it will be a mixture of finance and data handling, but at a higher level. So difficult questions, we might expect them to see. Difficult questions might be seen in question number 4 and 5. 5 and 4, they might be a mixture of the two. All right. When you look at finance, we shall be looking at, when we shall look at finance, we expect you to know the financial documents. All right. These will include the pay slip. The pay slip, we'll look at what we call the till slip. We shall look at under financial documents, we look at pay slip, water bills, water or electricity bill. All right. Financial documents. Then we shall also look, we shall also expect to see a little bit of tariffs. All right, tariffs, whereby we shall expect you to create or to complete a table. If not to complete a table, we might expect you to create an equation for us, or we might expect you to draw a graph. All right, this will be for comparing, for income and expenditure. Expenditure and income. We expect you to do that for us, whereby you look at variables. When you look at variables, we shall look at those variables. These are the terms or values that will be changed according to a given scenario. All right, whereby we shall have a table. We might have a number of items, 0, then 2, 4, 5, 4, probably 6, 8, 10. Then we expect you to tell us the income when one sells 0. Okay, and we shall expect you to give us the cost or the expenditure when one sells something at a given value. All right. In most cases, the cost will have a fixed cost. There will be a certain value here, but for income will always be at 0. Why? You sell nothing, you get nothing, and it will continue like that. Now, in most cases, this one, it will be what we call a direct proportion. To be a direct proportion. Why? Because as the values of the items increase, the income increases. Also, the expense increases. So they continue in a given value. in a given format. All right, that's tariffs. Then not only shall we look at this, we also have what we call the water tariffs. Probably they might have water tariffs. If not water tariffs, we have what we call the electricity tariffs. Electricity tariff. Given chance, we shall look at that also. This paper one. All right. Paper one, we shall see this then. All right. When we shall look at finance, probably another part that we might look at, it's we looked at tariffs. That table that I've just drawn, the one I've showed you, we expect you to know the kind of graphs that we might get. We said we have a direct graph, or the one that represents what is called the proportionality, right? Then we have what we call the indirect. All right. From the table, when do you know that it's direct or indirect? When both variables increase, then it becomes a direct graph. Then when indirect, one variable increases and the other decreases. All right. The other decreases. The other decreases. What do I mean? For example, we might have table here, these tables here. A table like this. Yes, this one has a fixed of 100, and when it comes to 200, it becomes when it comes to two items, it becomes 150. 150, it increases to 200. You see that? It's keeping as the numbers increase here. Also, these values are increasing. So for income, it might be 0. Here you get let's say 100. At 4, you have 200. You see that? It's increasing. All right. When we look at this, now for number 6, it will be okay. Now item number 6, we shall have 300. You see that? And the cost is 250. When you take a note of that, you'll see that the values are increasing, the items are increasing, also the prices are increasing, and the cost is increasing. So this kind of graph becomes direct. For 8, it will be 400, and the cost is 300. Whereas 9, we have 450. The cost is 325. You see that? All right. The most interesting part here, they usually come. Now they might ask you what is the break-even point. The break-even point is at 4 items. Why? Income equals to cost. At the end, we call this the break-even point. The break-even point. Break-even point here, so if they tell you to note down the break-even point, you write 4, then you put the money that is at the break-even point. What does it mean? The guy or the person of this business that's making profit after selling 4 items. All right. Don't ask me whether the 4 items, the break-even point will be on a daily basis. No, it only happens once. So whatever happens after the 4 items, the person makes, unless when the person puts in money every day. For example, if the person makes a magwinya, The person makes a magwinya, that means he has to make break-even point every day. Why? They buy oil and flour on a daily basis, unless they stocked it. All right. That's how we get the break-even. So this one's direct. So the indirect one, it will be different. It will be the opposite of this. As items are increasing, the other will be decreasing. That will be indirect. Then we shall also have a constant. Constant, it does not change. The constant graph, it does not change. It will always be plotted as a T. The indirect will be like that. The constant one, it will always be like this. This is a linear, the direct one. The indirect is that one. And don't forget on the graph, you have to label. Okay, now the other part of finance that we have to look at, it's what we call the tax. Here we shall expect you to know something to do with the UIF and VAT. Income tax, we have not yet looked at it. That's grade 12. But for grade 11, we look at UIF, and we expect you to know that UIF stands for unemployment, insurance fund. All right. Then VAT will stand for value added tax. These are charged at a certain percentage. VAT, which is VAT, it's charged at 12%. This is found on some items that we buy or services that we provide. These some services have VAT calculated, whereas all right, VAT is at 15%. VAT is 15%. Then unemployment insurance fund, it's at 1%. That's on your pay slip as you, an employee. Then the employer also adds on 1%. So the total UIF is 2%. But the personal UIF is 1%. All right. VAT, we shall expect you to include VAT. And if you are including, please just note this. If you're including, you'll get the price given to you. You multiply it with 1,15. Don't look for anything else. This is what you will do, and you'll get your answer. Then if you exclude VAT, you'll get the price given to you. Then you will have to divide by 1,15. The answer you get will be excluding VAT. All right. If they ask you for the value of VAT, we shall need to know that it will be always 15 over 100 times the price excluding VAT. All right. But then if the price already had VAT, which means the price includes VAT, we shall take 15 over 115 times that price including VAT. Here we are looking for the value of VAT. How much VAT does this price have? All right. That's what we expect in taxation. Okay. Okay. Under finance, now this is finance is done. We look at what we call data handling. Remember, I told you question 1, it will be a combination of the two, finance and data handling. Question 2, it has to be finance alone. Question 3, it's going to be data handling. All right, when we look at data handling, we shall be looking at data collection. Data handling, we look at data collection, whereby we expect you to know data. Data, we said these are raw facts. And it's from data, processed data becomes what? Information. Processed data becomes information. Then from there, data is put into categories. It can either be categoric or numeric. Data is either categoric or numeric. Then if it falls under numeric, still it goes into two. One called discrete, and the other is continuous. All right. What's the difference? Discrete is countable. Discrete is countable, whereas continuous is measured. That's what I want you to know. The easiest way to say discrete, these are whole numbers. We have whole numbers, whole values. All right. Whereas discrete, these are numbers with commas. Continuous, continuous numbers with commas. Examples of data under continuous, we might have time, height, we have weight, things that you can measure. Then we look at length, you understand, width, anything you can measure, distance. That becomes what? Continuous. Why? You can have them in commas. Even time, you can have 3.5 hours together. But whole numbers, here we look at things like human beings, humans, yes, animals, discs, you know, books, anything you can't have in commas. You can't have 3/4 of a disc or 3/4 of a book. Never. You understand? A book is a book. A disc is a disc. A pencil is a pencil. You know, things that you can count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those ones, we call them, or they fall under discrete. Values without commas. Categoric, this is just categoric is descriptive. You understand? Whereas numeric is quantitative. Quantity, right? Quantitative. This is descriptive. It is we look at things like color, texture, smell, gender. You know, you're describing. It's descriptive. But numeric, it's quantitative. This is data handling. That's what I want you to remember. The usual like asking, which kind of data do we have in the table above? If it has no commas, it becomes discrete. If it has commas, it's a continuous. All right. All right. Having seen data handling, we've seen how data is categorized. Then we shall expect you to know how to. It's called summarizing data. Summarizing data. Data summary. Summarizing of data. Remember, there are 5 steps. 1, you collect data. All right. You collect data. Having collected data, you organize the data. After organizing, you summarize the data. Having summarized the data, you need to represent the data. You see, that's how it's supposed to be done, right? Collection of data, organizing data, summarizing data, then representing data. All right, under summarizing, we expect to know, we expect to know how to calculate the mean, median, mode. On top of that, you need to know range. So far, that's where you stop together. But then there's a general term given to these 3. The 3 of them are called measures of central tendence. Measures of central tendence. Okay, this one here, it's called measure of spread. As you continue, you will see that also we have what to call the percentiles and quantiles. They'll also fall under that. That is how it's supposed to be done. Remember, mean, you add all the values and you divide by the number of values that you have added together. Then mod, the number that appears most. This is a number that appears most. Median is the middle number after arranging in ascending order. You arrange and you after ascending order. That's how we do it. Range will be the difference between the highest value minus the lowest value. When you subtract the two, we end up having the answer as the range, or maximum minus minimum. All right. Then we say data. Data is done in around 6 steps. 1, you need to develop the questions. You develop the questions. Then you collect data. Having collected data, you classify the data. Having classified, actually this is classifying, and you organize. Yes, son. Having classified, you need to summarize. Under summarizing, we need to represent. Sorry, after summarizing, represent, and you need to interpret. You need to interpret the data. Interpreting, this will mean you have to look at your values, especially look at range. Most cases, the bigger the range, the poorer the performance. The smaller the range, the better the performance. That's how we look at marks. Together, mean is used when we are looking at numbers which are closer to each other. Then median is used, or it's considered, when we look at values that have what we call the outlier. An outlier is a weird number out of range from the others. That's an outlier. All right. This takes me to probability. Probability, we shall always look at it, and we shall always say a chance an event takes place. A chance an event takes place. All right. And the formula for probability will always be the sample over the population. A chance an event takes place, probability will always equal to sample over population. Then we shall also see how is it expressed. Probability expressed. Number 1 is expressed as a fraction, common fraction. Number 2, it's expressed as a decimal. Number 3, it's expressed as a percentage. All right. Your answers in probability, we shall expect them. Your answers in probability, they should lie in between 0 and 1, or 0%, 100%. All right. We don't expect to see a negative number. We don't expect to see a number above 1, unless it's a percentage. All right. Wish you good luck in your paper. Revise your free paper that's coming this weekend.